Using Fox Cortex £15, silk coloured because of the bottom down there, and I'll strip off about 3 inches or so with teeth. Yeah, and tie a loop for your hair. Not one or too big because we're only using 10mm baits. Well, James is actually using 15mm on one. No, on one. Which he actually just had a take on, but unfortunately lost it. Can't win them all though, can you? Right.
Put it in your hand and have a look.
Tie the loop in the hair there.
Put it in your hand.
Loop in the hair and the strip back section. And I'm fishing in silk, so take about just over about 10 inches maybe off the spool. Cut it off, and that's the length that we start with before we tie the knotless knot and everything. You get a small piece of silicone on the hook. You will not be able to see this on the camera, it is very small.
Very, very.
It's also the same colour as the hook link, so it might not be able to pick it up like that. Just on the...
No, I don't think it.
Right, and then I'm using new Corda captors in size 10, the curved shank versions. They are sharp. I wouldn't say they're really sharp, but they are sharp enough for what we use them for, so well, I really don't think they're worth the extra quid or something that you have to pay for them. Right, xtr-a. Keeps the point nice and sharp apparently. Right, and then feed the hook onto the silicone and around the bend like so. So the hook sits on the hook link like this. Make sure you do it on the coated section. If you do it on the braided section, you're liable to sort of hook up on your braid, so you can't, and then your hair gets messed up and you won't be able to put your bait on properly. Alright, now position it around opposite the barb. Alright, then I take a hook bait out using Dynamite's 10mm 2-3 pop-ups, which smell awesome.
Bubblegum.
Looks like bubblegum, yeah. Right. This is so we get the hair length correct. You don't want the hair too long when you're fishing with these pop-ups. Right. As you can see, I did it a bit long, so I'll pull it up till it's got a couple of mil past the hook. Right. Time my knotless knot. And get the material through towards the point, and away from where the hook joining is, wrap it round, and you can do this as many times as you want really. I usually do up until about a couple of mil away from the silicone, and see I've got about an inch or so there. On the way back up I just do one over the top, and then pop it back through. Right. There you see, a nice rig there. Right, that's how long we've got it at the moment. I want it a tiny bit shorter, so I'm going to tie it, because I use a quick change system. I always like to tie a loop in the end, and the loop that I use is something called the perfection loop knot, where you pinch a loop into your hand, pull it down slightly, and you take another loop over the back, like so, so you've got two, and your tag end is down here, down through the middle. Then you take the loop that's closest to me and poke it through that one and pull it tight, making sure that you don't actually pull very hard on the tag end, otherwise the knot won't sit right. As you can see, that's not nearly tight, and then I'm going to wet it. Let's pull it tight. That knot doesn't cut into the coating, and it leaves the knot is perfectly straight and parallel with the hook link. You keep it nice and straight and you're not got a bent hook link. Snip the tag end off there.
Put it on your hand. Show us the loop.
That's the hook bait end there. And the loop end. There's a loop. As you can see, it sits perfectly straight next to the hook link. Right, then because it's pop up, you need a shot. Using BBs here. You can probably get away with a number 1, but we don't have any. I'll use BBs. And I put it at where the I don't put it on the coated section. Put it so it's touching it like that. Squeeze it on. Yeah, that's on there, and then that'll sit like that in the water. Once the bag's melted, which will tie in a second. PVA bag now in the water. Right. Ignore the fact that the hook link's a bit curly because it will sit flat once I finish with it. Right. Yeah, there's the PVA bag on the bottom, and the pop-up sits above it all. When the fish comes along, hopefully the first thing that they'll take, the pop-up. PVA bag is just for attraction. That's why there's only a tiny amount there. You don't want anything else, anything more than that, really. I'm going to put a bit of putty on the hook link in a bit so that it sits straight on the bottom. Right, I'm going to put some putty on the hook link now. I've got a lump of putty in my hands, and because it's so cold, the putty goes hard in cold weather, so you have to use a lighter. Not burn your hand. And just hold it over it for a couple of seconds, and it just melts it slightly. Do it again. It makes it softer. I'll just take a piece off. And it also makes it sticky. There you are. There's a spot on the wing itself, and just roll it around onto it. Do that, and then it forms a nice, neat little piece of putty on your hook link there, and that'll keep it pinned down when it lands on the bottom. Right, and then to do this, you have to. I've got to tie this loop for the quick change system. Yeah, quick change system. The loop on the end. You use a piece of silicone. Push the silicone through, like, loop through the silicone like that. And it sits on it like that. And then we take the rig, which is 2-ounce lead, Cordo gripper style lead, helicopter sleeve, a ring swivel, put on with the ring on the lead core itself, so it has free movement and can spin. See that? And then on the end of that, there's a quick link, and that's where we attach the hook link. Which I'm going to do now. Just hook the hook link over the crook in there, and then just slide that silicone over the top, and that seals it in place so it can't wiggle off during the fight or in the cast. Then above that we've got a bead. It's mounted on a small piece of shrink tube to stop it moving as much. It has to be free moving so the fish can get rid of it. I'll just demonstrate for like fish. Say a fish, say this lead's there on the floor, as you can see, and the fish has lifted it up, and it shakes its head. As soon as it shakes its head, that bead's coming up the lead core like that, and eventually it will go over the top of there, over the top of the splice, which is what you want. You don't want a fish trailing rigs round all over the place. That's dead carp at the end of the day. Right, and then I'll tie a PVA bag next for this. Right, in this bag I've got my stick mitts, which is I showed you before when I was showing you how the pop-up's going to sit. In there you've got just little flakes of tuna. There's a whole tin in this. Some sauce ground bait by Dynamite. Some crushed up mango flavoured boilies, just the ones that I had hanging around the house. And some crushed up floating pellets. And I put them in because you want your ground bait to be active on the bottom. So when it breaks down, you've got little bits of pellet floating up off it. And the fish can see that, and when they're coming up through the water column, because there's no oil in this, because it's really cold at the moment. I put one of these in the margins before with a stick, and it took 5 minutes to melt. That's how cold the water is. So I've not got any oil in it whatsoever, so it'll melt quickly. And there's halibut pellets as well, crushed up. There's a couple of whole ones in there as well. And so I'm going to make a stick. It's called a long chuck funnel web. It's perfect stuff for making a stick out of. And I just use a tub scoop. Got a few scoops in there. Don't want too big a stick because, as I say, it's just a waste really. At the end of the day, you only want to attract them. You don't want to feed them at this time of year. Right, the compressor down here. Push that down the end. Right, it's down the end. Compress it really hard so it stays compact and you can cast it. I mean, it's not really imperative on here because it's such a small place and you don't really fishing that far out. But right, your stick there, and you need to make sure it's really secure with your knots, so it's proper tight and it explodes on the bottom instead of sort of like sitting on top of your rig really. Now it makes a nice sort of thin cloud on the bottom, so it's just attraction really. There's a few food items in there that the fish can obviously eat, but not too many. Like most of the stuff will just go in and it'll be like attraction through the gills and stuff, and they can taste it. So and you cut between the two knots what I've just made. There's your stick made, and I go and hook it on the rig. And I know a lot of people thread the sticks on. There's two reasons why I don't do this with this rig, and that's because one, there's a shot on it, and I don't like making a massive gaping hole for that shot to go through. And also, in this cold weather, it takes a long time for this stick to melt, and the knots are the worst part you can put your hook next to, because it'll be there forever and it'll never melt. So I usually just hook around the middle of the bag. Because we're not casting very far, this works. You just hook once and then twist it and then once again, and that sits there, and there's no way that hair can tangle or anything. It'll just sit perfectly, and when it explodes, that'll be this middle bit will be the first part to melt of the PVA bag, away from the knots. It'll be in the middle of the pile of food. This rig out to the spot what I just showed you how to tie, and I'm fishing in the middle of it. I'm just going to chuck it out. Nice and soft on the bottom, you feel that on the bottom, proper silty. Explains why we're using the silk coloured hook link and all the leg core and everything. It should pull plenty of line off, let it sink. I mean, this is mono, but it's quite heavy, this mono, and it sinks quite well. On it I don't like to use the fluorocarbon because the water's so murky, you get bits stuck on your fluorocarbon and it shows up more. So yeah, keep it nice and slack and